And we're live. Welcome again for this wonderful presentation provided by Beatrice Gamba. Beatrice is the head of innovation at WordLift, and yeah, she's climbed the ranks from project manager within the organization to now being head of agency, and then later being head of innovation. She's working with Fortune 500 companies and organizations globally with WordLift as a technology enabler. So she's helping organizations develop better content practices, consolidate knowledge graphs, their knowledge bases into knowledge graphs, and support their SEO function. Everything is basically championing generative AI grounded in knowledge, grounded in context and truth. So I'm very excited to hear, what you have prepared for us, and I'm sure everybody else will learn a load on content and SEO and how we can make everything interconnected and truthful.
Hi, thank you. The great introduction. So indeed, I am Beatrice Gamba. This is a steampunk version of me. I am head of innovation at WordLift. For those who know us and for those who don't, we are a company that is knowledge graph based. So everything starts with a knowledge graph. So we get the data from our clients in almost every format and integration. Then we structure it inside the knowledge graph and we build AI applications on top of it. So our technology is what enables our clients to build their own AI models and grow traffic on their sites. So as I said, the knowledge graph is at the center of our AI models. We build actual AI models for our clients. They are grounded in reliable data because they are grounded with data from the knowledge graph. So this is how our generative intelligence retrieval works. As you can see, the core of the process is the knowledge graph. So the intelligence behind LLMS has kind of plateaued. So the artificial general intelligence, the human-like artificial general intelligence that we were expecting to reach in a reasonable time has basically failed to happen. And apparently it's not going to happen soon. So it's not only me who is claiming that, but it's also Stefan Weitz, who is the former director of Bing, that is saying that LLMs basically are applied statistics. So they are not like a source of power, a source of knowledge. So they can only understand a little tiny bit of what real life is. So we have to scope down our expectation for AI. But this doesn't mean that we have to abandon ship. In fact, generative AI adoption is very common, and its applications have been double during 2024. But of course, it is most common in the function where it can create the most value. We can expect to apply AI or generative AI to basically every field. So one field in which the adoption has doubled since last year is the marketing and sales field. So companies, early adopters, and technology enablers are turning to what is called practical AI. Practical AI is more than one thing. They are applications of artificial intelligence that are designed to deliver real-world benefits, and they are able to solve specific problems. So there is a constant need of the human in the loop to carry out practical AI tasks correctly. But of course, they are very tangible for companies and for units who decide to apply practical AI to their jobs. And they can be deployed and scaled within the business. So they are much more tangible and they have direct outcomes. They can generate insights, they are scalable, and they are responsible. This is what I kind of renamed the human-centered AI. because the human in the process, it's really, really important. So we have to be able to combine all those characteristics that are typical of the human, which is the ability to learn, to plan, to socialize, and we have to combine them with the AI power of automation, because the AI can automate and the human can do basically everything else. So this is a process, but of course, this process has to be backed up by reliable data. In our case, reliable data is represented by the data inside the knowledge graph. And then the results have to be always validated by the human again, so that we can have efficient results that can be scalable inside a business. In terms of content, because we are talking about generative AI, so this is a new age of content, because we were expecting, and it is happening, the web has been flooded with content, and it's difficult to select and to choose the good content and the bad content. And of course, also, the search engines are evolving according to how content is changing. So customer journey in search, in the search engines industry, has become very, very fast with the new generative search engines. So on the left, you can see the messy middle, which is a theory that was developed by Google in 2020, and it claimed that the customer journey when searching, it's not linear. In fact, from what triggers the purchase to the actual purchase, there is a loop. There is a loop that has the form of an infinite between exploration and evaluation. So right now, generative search engines are carrying out this journey, exploration and evaluation. But it is also true that the results that they can retrieve are not yet crafted on the user, the specific user who is searching. But what is true is that the new search engines are 2.8 times faster. So we have to be as fast to keep up the pace. So we have a double standard. So the benefits of good content and structured data are twofold, because on one hand, we are getting traffic from these new generative search engines. So we are getting more visibility, more organic traffic, because we have good data and good content. And on the other hand, one thing that we are doing is setting a benchmark for quality in the digital age, because we are publishing content that has been fact-checked and can be trusted as a source of information, because it is based on the data from the website owners. So we are not making anything up. So it's beneficial both to website owners and to the web community. This is an example of what it means. So on the right, you can see a screenshot from the schema.org validator of what my entity page looks like in terms of markup. And you can see that I have added all the CMS that can confirm that I am an SEO expert. And on the left, you can see what this means, like tangibly, like in real life. Because if I ask to Copilot if I am an SEO expert, it provides the users with a good description of myself. And the same happens with the new Google, asking if I am an SEO expert. Again, it retrieves data from my company's website, but this data is also contained in the metadata layer of my entity page. So what we are doing with good content and structured data is building the authority of a business or a person, as we just saw, as credible player in their domain, because we are providing all the information about them in one single interface, in one single place, in the form of metadata. So the crossroads of AI, SEO, and knowledge graph is the place to be for marketers and content creators right now. We have what is called a paradox here, because as I said before, users might struggle to find the information that they are looking for due to the overload of AI-generated content. Sometimes it's difficult to find just what we are looking for. And I recognize that the SGEs are not making the experience any better. But on the other hand, AI can be used to curate and personalize content for users so that user can retrieve the information faster with AI. So helping the user navigate vast amount of information to find the high quality content that they need. So again, AI is twofold. So here we are now diving into a series of different use cases for businesses. So we samples from different sizes of businesses. So we have SMEs, Fortune 500, we have WordLift own website. I thought it would be fun to just dive into different use cases. So all of the examples that I gathered in the presentation come from our own SEO agent. So at WordLift, we have developed an SEO agent that does the SEO work. But again, this is a practical AI application because we have to build the right prompt to get the good results that we expect. And then on top, of course, there's always got to be a validation effort from the human. So here we start with content generation, the three main typical use cases, which is question and answers, product descriptions, product highlights. Question and answers, we are building a prompt where we are asking, just like a human SEO will do. So before doing the question and answer, I would not want just to write for question and answer for this page. We will not be getting good results from a prompt like that. So we want to be more specific. We want to target a specific keyword, check what competitors are tackling with that keyword, and providing me with a gap analysis so that I can know where others are missing out and where I am missing out. Then I'm asking about a long tail keyword analysis. So this is much more important right now where we are typing longer queries because of generative search engines being a conversation mode, being in conversation mode. So this is as good as it gets. And then, of course, we have to always make sure that it uses the same tone of voice and the same word choice that is used in the existing page. This is a screenshot of the results that we got, gap analysis and FAQs. We were really happy with the results. And of course, our team of content managers validated everything that came out. Another use case is product descriptions. So what we do here, we do not use the SEO agent, but to generate product description, we actually use the models that we build for our clients. So this is an example from a big company that is a leader in the beauty industry. And what we do is we start with an SEO work. So we try to define down all the different attributes that have to be there, that have to be inside a good product description. So this is the list that we came up with, and we have added these attributes inside the prompt to start generating product description. But this prompt is based on another set of attributes that come from the knowledge graph. So everything is grounded with the knowledge graph. Also, the example from the agent is grounded in knowledge graph data because to be activated, we have our own WordLift key that is applied to the client and be specific, and it gathers data from their own knowledge graph. So this is very important because it can help avoiding hallucination and getting good results, just the results that we expect to have. And this is an example of one product description. So for this specific client, we wanted to highlight the ingredients because they are pretty important, because there might be some ingredients that are not common in the beauty industry, and we definitely want to highlight the fact that we are using special ingredients inside the formulation of our products. So we are taking into account the specification and the industry and the attributes that will make the product description more attractive to potential buyers. Again, we have SEOs will have, and content marketers will have more time on their hands. So we are able to experiment a lot. And this is what we do in the innovation team that I lead. We like to experiment. And as soon as I knew that there was this feature that is called product highlights inside Google Merchant Center, we said, why don't we generate these product highlights with our tools? So this implementation in particular is scalable and it impacts the bottom line. And also the validation process is much lighter because this information are only visible in the backend of the Google Merchant Center. It is not visible to the end user. So it facilitates a lot the validation process also on the client side. So this is the prompt that we used to generate the one example of a product highlights for one product. So it retrieves the information directly from the client's knowledge graph. Another set of SEO tasks. These are some mundane tasks, especially SEO titles and meta descriptions. Of course, everything starts with prompt, giving the right instructions, and then with evaluating the results. And then it's also nice to do some back and forth with the agent. For example, if there are some words that I recognize that it's used inside the results, I might want to get back and say, hey, can you redo them without using these specific words? Internal links. Also here we have an elaborated prompt. So we are asking for a specific page to analyze the text and identify up to 5 related articles. Again, we are using data from our own knowledge graph. This is an example from WordLift's website. And then we are also asking to build and to generate anchor texts. So we identify the content, we process, so the agent is able to process a batch of pages all in one prompt, and then it's up to the human to validate and implement. Content planning, another cluster, another set of very useful use cases: research, content optimization, content distribution. So content optimization here contains also the research, the content, keyword, competitor analysis that every SEO is accustomed to do and to carry out. So we are asking to analyze the content, identify the primary, secondary keywords that are relevant to the topic of the page. We ask to analyze what the competitor is doing, because I know that this page is still in my traffic and they're doing that I am not doing. Then we ask for the word count of headings, multimedia usages, if there are unique elements like tables, data charts that I might want to add as well. Compare my content with the competitor's content, identify any missing entities that I might want to add as a topic in my knowledge graph, and then analyze any internal and external linking strategies. So this is a lot of work that is being taken out of our hands. And then, of course, we have to check. But it's really, I mean, I'm really happy when I get to see the results, because most of the times they're really astounding. This is an example of a prompt for content distribution. So we are asking to analyze the content. This one is an article from our blog. So we narrate a little bit the use case here. So we are saying that the target audience is composed of SEOs, digital marketers that are interested in using AI for SEO, and less importantly, Python programmers. And then we are asking to generate copies for Twitter, LinkedIn, to generate other content repurposing ideas, other captions, and a copy for an email newsletter. So the create once, distribute forever model here, it's really something that is tangible. One of the last use cases for data analysis, but this is really just one, otherwise I could be talking all afternoon. It's keyword clustering. This one is very, very useful because we know that keyword clustering usually takes a lot of time. So what we're doing here is adding. We can also add them in a file. Or now I just copied and paste some keywords like manually. So we are saying below there is a list of keywords, and I want them clustered. So this is what the agent is doing, is clustering in different clusters all the keywords that I sent over. And then it also adds a little explanation. And then one is ready to take advantage of everything that the analysis can bring to the team. So this is very cool, at least in my opinion. But is there an impact on the bottom line? Can we safely tell that these work? We can. We have been using these tools for some time with our clients, big and small. So for example, we have an impact for AI-generated product descriptions for the website framesdirect.com. We generated a plus 5.4% increase in clicks year over year. So for these kind of e-commerce websites, anything above an increase of 5% is actually a success. This is another, I included this in the results part of the presentation because this is the most tangible result that you can get from implementing structured data and good content, because what you get is the knowledge panel. So when content is a quality and when it is traceable, because with the knowledge graph, content is traceable. Google and other search engines can trace back where it came from. So you have more chances of being featured in this kind of rich snippets and knowledge panels. So you are increasing the visibility of a site or a person, and you're, of course, increasing the opportunities to be cited as a source of information. So Google has its own knowledge graph, and your website can have too. Here we have the impact of AI-generated internal links. For Ray-Ban USA, we have a plus 14% increase in clicks. This is a before and after the implementation in a time frame of around 15 days. This is also an incredible successful use case. So this is a large publisher and event organizer. We worked on a cluster of 10 different event websites, and we added the knowledge graph, and we delivered content suggestions, and they were able to increase their clicks, impression, ranking, but most of all, they were able to generate actual revenues from organic search with a plus 49.5%. So in this case, we started almost from zero, but we achieved really good results, and the implementation is still proving itself successful. So we are still tracking. This is the latest data that we have. So what do we do with the time saved by AI? Because if you got through all the slides, you might be thinking, this is amazing, but what can we do? What can human do? So the role of human is now more important than ever, actually, because to shift the approach, it takes a very knowledgeable human to make everything work. So what the human can do is plan good strategies, develop relationships with their clients. So we have to be the social animals that we are. And then again, we can experiment. We have more time on our hands to experiment, and we know that marketers and SEOs love that. And then, of course, this is also the best part for me, the upskilling and advancing in career, because it really takes a lot of time to be constantly updated. But if we can automate the right use cases, the right tasks that are specific to our own industries, really are able to do that. So that's all for today. You can find me on Twitter and LinkedIn, and we can keep the conversation going.
Well, thank you very much, Beatrice. Let me just let me leave this on for some question and answering. Um, yeah, anybody that's ever worked with SEO or content management, or anybody that's ever worked on a Word document can sort of visualize the productivity gains that you get from being able to recycle truthful knowledge. Um, I mean, what is a text? What is a narrative? What is a communication piece? Then a composition of facts put together to help somebody take an action, right? Um, and there's so many companies that they have duplicative efforts of creating and managing and finding and creating and managing and finding, updating, maintaining these pieces of information that they're all over the same organization, and they're spreading their efforts across many channels, and sort of like a divide and conquer of their time and effort. They're not really accomplishing a cohesive effort. So
Yeah, I
I'm
totally agree. And also inside companies and organizations, there are always those minor tasks that are very important and that can be carried out with a good AI. But again, in my opinion, rather than having like a random model that can just guess what comes after, we can have one that is grounded with data. So the practical AI use case that I wanted to bring today, it's really at the core of the presentation, and I think it's today's state of AI. We need to rescope a bit, but this doesn't mean that we can't win our battle for having more time on our hands.
Yeah, I find that ever since I learned about WordLift and the technology and the product offering, everything that comes together, I just find it so exciting that the value proposition is centered around how do we collect and reuse knowledge in an efficient manner to help an organization that might be resource constrained be very efficient, be very productive in their content and SEO.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, once one company has invested money and time on creating a knowledge graph with us, then the question that usually comes after is, okay, can we leverage on the knowledge graph for other use cases? And there's actually plenty of them. This is also why the experiment part is very important, because you always have to be up to date. And also clients love that you are being in touch with the other SEO experts, and that you can guide them in the process towards innovation. Because for some big organization, they sometimes they do not even know what SEO is. So filling the gap from SEO to knowledge graph to AI. That's a really big role.
Yeah, and what have been some of the internal use cases that you've kind of resolved with this proprietary methodology and product?
Especially product descriptions, they are a pretty big example because, uh, for example, one big client we are still working with, they started with having these product description that were the same for the variation of the product. So one product might have different color and it had the same description. So we took advantage of that, and based on the knowledge graph, we were able to produce descriptions that were personalized for each product, but literally each product, so also for the variation. And we know that Google awards such a personalization level, awards such behaviors. So you always have to look. We don't do like things in batches. Like we always try to find that one unique sub thing that will make a difference for that specific client.
People forget how complex the internet is, given that they think a website is just it's just a vessel. You just shove information and pictures, and that's it. But you have the bones, the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. You have the content management system that helps you manage that without having to hard code everything. You have to optimize it so that it's accessible for search engine and virtual crawlers to understand and help you come up so people can find you based on their intents, on their queries. And that's, there's so many layers to that, just in that statement alone. Multilingual, multi-conceptual, variations of each concept for products that are impacting commercial space or nonprofit. uh, Organizations need to invest in this so that they can further their communications.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge, and again, also here, the work of an SEO, of a content marketer, um, brings over a lot of notions because we work with the most diverse industries. So we have no limitations whatsoever. I think in my career, I've worked with, I don't know, almost anything because every website owner at some point wants its website optimized, and I have seen like almost everything. So you get to know a lot, and but yeah, um, it's a it's a sea of knowledge that we have to navigate, and we have to explain also the explaining part, the building the relationship with the clients part, because of course not every website owner is knowledgeable, and this is why they come to us. So we have to keep things extra simple, and that's also, I mean, it's not easy when one is technical and produce generative AI and knowledge graph products. So that's not the easiest thing. We want to give value to the work of everyone. So narrating it in an extra simple way, it's not the simplest thing, but we manage.
Well, excellent. What's next in the journey for WordLift? I know you said one thing is product knowledge graphs and enhancing content and SEO and being a tech enabler. But I also remember seeing something about agentic functions.
Yeah. What I showed in the presentation is being achieved with the agent WordLift, which is an autonomous SEO agent that we delivered and that is available to all of our clients. So that is what also is currently enabling us to carry out most of our daily tasks so that we can focus on other parts of the job. So generative AI grounded in knowledge graph is our main focus lately. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Beatrice. You have a couple fans. Margaret said 100% go Beatrice, and Ben is saying thanks for sharing amazing insights. So yeah, connect with
Thank
Beatrice.
you.
Ask her further questions if you have any, and thank you again.
Thank you, Joaquin, for having me, and speak to you tomorrow.